also a important proceeding. As election is approaching, make sure you go Republican from top to bottom.
This guy continues to stand up for the rights of the
Yes.
Yes.
To all the individuals who are part and parcel to this proceeding.
Yes. We got to let Letitia James know that she's not allowed.
We have
to
some
do this.
important persons here today. Paul Rodriguez, Paul King, Joe Pinion.
I'm Guyanese and I'm supporting it.
Please come out and be a part of this rally here today.
I know.
All
Tell Letitia James that. She going off pee-pee.
concern her. She has no jurisdiction of Guyana's politics. It's racially motivated, positive messages from elected officials. Election in
As you guys
2020.
see, we're walking down Liberty. I'm here with my good
The
friend
US,
Michael
the
Henry,
Canadian, the
Secretary
British,
General of the state.
all indicate that our democracy was free and fair election. Your opinion for your Senator Michael Henry for a very important racism, false information, fellow New Yorkers, Chinese.
Tell him I have a pile of copies.
I'm going to go to
Yeah.
And last but not least, Mr. Michael Henry for Attorney General. And also, we need a new governor.
This community is very socially conservative, but be it for other reasons, be it the immigration issue, etc., they often end up voting Democrat due to perceptions that Democrats will opt out on immigration, Republicans the rhetoric. This is socially conservative area. I know that you are also a lawyer who's practiced immigration law, helped many immigrants. Is there anything that you want to say on that, connecting on other issues, not just the James issue, high crime, etc.?
I come from a family where my dad had relatives that came here and changed their name because Italians were discriminated against. So I understand coming from this type of background. I want everybody to be able to live their American dream and their families to be able to prosper and their kids to be able to be safe and get quality or access to a quality education. And what I would say is, when I was here today, I've had people say, you're the first Republican I've met in this community. Me and Joe Pinion in here and Paul Rodriguez, because it's time we start showing up to communities and saying, we are going to represent your best interests. Give us a chance. We're asking for your vote, and we're going to prove that you are going to make the right decision on November 8th when you vote Republican. Because the Democrats do not care about you. You're nothing more than a vote to them, and Letitia James on video proved she does not care about Little Guyana, and she's also proven with her track record, the only thing Letitia James cares about is her own political ambition, and she doesn't want to be the Attorney General of the state.
Check, 1, 2.
She wanted to be the governor. She ran for governor, and she failed, but now she's sitting in the AG's office till she gets her next shot. Michael Henry's running to be the Attorney General for all New Yorkers, and it does not matter your race, gender, religious affiliation, nothing of that matters. We're all New Yorkers, we're all in this together, and we're all going to make this state the way it should be.
And even to that point, right, you talk about immigration. I mean, there are 4 million people waiting to come to this country legally. Members from my own church have been waiting 5, 10, 15 years for spouses to join, for children to join. And yet somehow we have made it fashionable for people to come here and break the law to pursue their American dream. And there are so many people desperate to go through the legal channels to do so. And so for me, my family from Jamaica, so many people from Guyana saying that, look, give us the help to make that legal line go a little faster. Give us the resources to make sure that more people from our communities can pursue their American dream and live it out right here in New York.
Just follow. I'd be remiss, like, on behalf of the Guyanese if I didn't ask you. You have some people, Guyanese or other immigrants as well, who they happen to come illegally because they're in search of the American dream, better future, etc. And that's just how they ended up to come. But they're otherwise law-abiding. They've been here for many years, etc. How would you deal with that? Would you favor a compassionate solution to that? Ronald Reagan, for example, favored amnesty in exchange for border security at the time. Any position that you would offer on that?
I think first you have to secure the border. There is no appetite for any other conversation until we can actually secure the border and make sure that we're still not going to have that flood of immigration. But I do think that we have to be a compassionate nation. And certainly if we're talking about children who are brought here through no fault of their own,
Is that just the dreamers?
America to me is a promise. And part of that promise is saying that we do not hold children accountable for the actions of their parents. So I think that we have to have that conversation seriously. And I think everyone who has been here, who's been following the law, we can talk about whether there is a fine, whether there is some type of process where they can continue to pursue the American traditions they've cultivated. But again, the first step before we have any of those conversations has to be the security of the border, not just because of the immigration crisis, but because now the scourge of the drugs that are careening into our streets and our communities, particularly here in New York City, the fentanyl that is all over the place because we have not secured the border and we have allowed these drugs to come into our communities.
Well, the Democratic community definitely is concerned about drugs and high crime. To further the Reagan comparison, Ronald Reagan in 1980, he campaigned in the South Bronx. He went to a neighborhood most Republicans would never go to, and he ended up being one of the few Republicans to win the New York presidential election. You guys are out here today in a neighborhood most Republicans would never come to, and you may be on the verge of the biggest Republican wave in New York since 1994.
This election, and Letitia James knows this, is much closer than she wants anyone to believe. And every one of your votes is going to matter. Your fate is in your hands. And by the way, don't let her try to apologize to you before November 8th. Everyone's seen in a private setting what she stands for. Let her just be retired on November 8th and move on with her life. She does not deserve to represent this community or this state.
There's polling out from the Trafalgar Group that suggests Mr. Henry is winning even by a small margin. So we're on the verge of what could be a very historic Republican wave in New York.
Crime, corruption, cost of living, and access to a quality education transcends party affiliation. We are going to make sure that everyone has a better life in this state. This is about the people. That's why we're running. We're not career politicians. We're giving up our personal lives to represent the people of this state. And we're asking for your trust.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Henry, he's a lawyer. He's never run for office before, if I'm correct, right? This is your first time running for office. Maybe your first time running for office.
Yeah, I mean, never run for federal office here, and I think for me, it's really focused on trying to say, look, people say a lot of things. Chuck Schumer never wants to say my name, but tomorrow morning, the President of the United States is getting on Air Force One and flying to attend a rally 500 yards from my home in Yonkers. It's not a coincidence this is the first time a sitting president has come to Yonkers to campaign. It's because they know that Chuck Schumer is vulnerable.
Good morning, good morning.
The browner your rice will be because we will deglaze the pan with the liquid. You can use vegetable broth instead of water, but I will use water because that's how we do it traditionally. I'm going to start with some cumin seeds into the hot oil, and you can come close if you want to see sizzling. Whenever you have hot oil